Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're grabbing our best gear, maybe cracking open a spellbook. We're tackling the 2024 D&D fighter class.
Yeah, specifically focusing in on the Champion and Eldritch Knight subclasses.
Exactly. We've been digging through all the latest optimization guides, looking at class features, abilities, builds, the whole 9 yards.
That's right. Think of this as your streamlined strategy session. What's new, what works for the fighter now.
Right. And for you, our listener, the mission is simple. Get a clear picture of what these fighters can do now. Strengths, changes, best ways to play them.
Without getting totally bogged down in the rules weeds, just the key stuff.
Okay, let's jump in. Starting with the Champion.
Makes sense. The Champion. Still basically the quintessential martial class, right?
Yeah.
Simple, effective, all about those crits.
And still great for new players, I imagine.
Oh yeah, very approachable, but effective too. Now the big thing for crits is improved critical. Still critting on a 19 or 20.
But the change is, it works with unarmed strikes now. That wasn't a thing before, was it?
Correct. Wasn't raw before. So yeah, you're basically doubling your crit chances right out of the gate. Kicks in early.
Twice as many crits. That definitely changes the math.
It does. Makes them more consistently dangerous, not just relying on, lucky spikes.
Right.
And it interacts nicely with things that trigger on a crit.
Ah, good point. Okay, what else? Remarkable athlete.
Right. That's moved. It's level 3 now. Still gives you advantage on strength checks, specifically athletics. Useful.
But the big one is the initiative bonus, yeah. Advantage on initiative.
That's huge. Going first is almost always better.
Yeah.
And there's a little kicker now, too. You get some free movement after you land a critical hit.
Oh, really? Like a little tactical reposition.
Exactly. Just a small burst of movement. Nice little perk. Then level 7, you get another fighting style.
An additional one. Wow, okay. That has a lot of flexibility.
It really does. You can grab, say, defense for +1 AC, or maybe blind fighting for dealing with invisibility. Lets you customize more.
Shore up weaknesses or double down on a strength. Makes sense. All right, level 10.
Level 10 brings something entirely new. Heroic Warrior.
Heroic Warrior. Okay, what's that do?
Once per turn, you get a free use of Heroic Advantage. Remember, Heroic Advantage lets you re-roll a d20, but you have to take the new roll.
Ah, okay. So good for, like, crucial saving throws, or maybe turning a missed attack into a hit?
Definitely good for saves, for attacks. There's a slight anti-synergy, right? If you've already hit, especially if you crit, re-rolling might make you miss.
Ah, right. Use it before you know the outcome, ideally. Like on a save you think you might fail.
Precisely. Its main strength is probably bolstering those important saves. Then at 15, you get superior critical.
Okay, expanding the crit range again.
Yep. Now you're critting on an 18, 19, or 20, and this is without needing advantage.
Whoa. So triples your base crit chance. That's massive. And I bet this synergizes really well with Elven Accuracy.
Oh, absolutely. If you can get advantage reliably, Elven Accuracy plus superior critical, you're rolling so many dice, the odds of hitting that 18-20 range go way up.
Yeah, you're fishing for crits and you've got a much bigger net. Okay, level 18.
Survivor gets an upgrade. It already gave regeneration, which is great.
Keeps you in the fight.
Exactly. But now it also boosts your death saving throws. Makes you incredibly hard to kill. Some guides basically call a high-level, well-supported champion near immortal.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Just keeps coming back. Okay, quick thoughts on gear. Any specific weapons stand out now?
Well, the basics are still the basics. Good armor, good weapon. But Vex weapons get a nod.
Vex. That's the one where hitting gives you advantage on the next attack against that target.
That's the one. Think rapiers, pistols. Since champions hit reliably and crit more often, getting that advantage easily feeds into things like Elven Accuracy or just more reliable damage.
Makes sense. And feats. We mentioned Elven Accuracy. What else pairs well?
Piercer is a natural fit. Rerolling a damage die on a crit. Yes, please.
Especially when you crit more often.
Exactly. And then the usual suspects. Tough for more HP, maybe Great Weapon Master if you're going that route. Standard, strong, martial feats.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's put it together. There was an example build mentioned, Lord Forestwalk. What's the gist?
Yeah, Lord Forestwalk. It's a dexterity build. Using finesse weapons, probably a rapier. Starts with Lucky as an origin feat, which is always nice.
These are those handy re-rolls.
Right. Then the feat progression focuses on getting Elven Accuracy early. Then Piercer for the crit damage.
Stacking those crit benefits.
Yep. Then Defensive Duelist for reaction AC. Chef for some healing, and Temp HP utility.
Chef. Interesting. Bonus action utility.
Yeah, surprisingly useful. And then Resilient Wisdom later on to patch up a common weakness.
So high dex, focus on crits with Elven Accuracy and Piercer, layer in defense and utility. Sounds solid. High damage, Very durable later on.
Pretty much sums it up. Okay, should we switch gears? Eldritch Knight.
Let's do it. The Magic Warrior.
Right.
What's the 2024 take on the Eldritch Knight?
It's still that blend of martial and arcane, yeah.
Wow.
But the spellcasting is, well, it's been significantly reworked.
How so?
Biggest change, where you get access to the entire wizard spell list now.
Wait, really? Not just abjuration and evocation?
Nope. Full list. Huge increase in flexibility.
Wow. Okay, but there's got to be a catch, right?
Yeah. There is. You're still a 1/3 caster, so your spell progression is much slower than a full wizard, and you cap out at lower level spell, like 4th level spells max.
Ah, okay. So tons of options, but you still only get a limited number of slots and spells known, and they're lower level. You have to choose carefully.
Exactly. You're a fighter first. Spells supplement that. The guides really stress strategic spell selection.
Makes sense. Okay, what about other features? Weapon bond still around?
Yep. Weapon bond is still there. Same basic utility, recalling thrown weapons, summoning your weapon so you can look unarmed. Pretty handy.
Keeps your hands free sometimes, or lets you pull off that cool summon weapon trick.
Right. There's a niche thing about casting light or darkness on it and throwing it, but it's usually easier just to cast the spell normally.
Got it. War magic. Still lets you cantrip after attacking.
Still a core feature, yeah. Attack, then cast a cantrip. The advice is lean heavy on offensive cantrip.
Like Booming Blade.
Booming Blade is basically the poster child here, especially now with weapon masteries. Imagine hitting someone using the push mastery to shove them back 5 feet.
And then hitting them with Booming Blade, so if they want to move back to engage you, they take the extra damage.
Exactly. Great tactical combo. Control and damage in one go.
Nice. Okay, Eldritch Strike. How's that changed?
Eldritch Strike is pretty potent now. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, they have disadvantage on their next saving throw against a spell you cast before the end of your next turn.
Ooh, okay. So, hit them hard, then make it harder for them to resist your magic. That helps offset maybe not having a super high intelligence score.
Right. That's the key benefit. Makes your spells much more likely to land, even with a lower spell save DC compared to a full caster. You can smack someone, then drop a hold person, or a Tasha's hideous laughter with much better odds.
Or hit multiple enemies with attacks, then drop an AoE spell, and they all have disadvantage.
Precisely. Opens up some powerful sequences. Then at 15, Arcane Charge.
Teleport.
Yep. Bonus action teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see when you use your action surge.
Whoa. Combined with action surge. So you surge, attack, then teleport. Or teleport first.
You use action surge, then you can use the teleport as part of that. So you could say attack, teleport, attack again. Or teleport into position, then unleash your full action surge attacks. Gives you incredible mobility and action economy on that turn.
Like getting almost a whole extra turn's worth of movement and action. Very cool. Okay, the capstone, level 18. Improved war magic. It's different now.
Yeah, reworked. It used to give a bonus action attack after casting a spell. Now, it lets you replace 2 of your attacks when you take the attack action with a spell of 1st or 2nd level.
Okay, so instead of maybe 3 attacks, you do 1 attack and cast like a shield spell or mirror image.
Or maybe Enlarge Reduce, Ray of Sickness,
Yeah.
Web. Yeah, low-level spells, but you integrate them right into your main attack routine. It's different.
Yeah.
Maybe less raw attacks, but potentially more tactical impact with the right spell choice.
Interesting shift. cells.
Mm-hmm.
Huge list now, but limited slots. What are the must-haves according to the guides?
Well, Booming Blade we mentioned. Essential Cantrip. For leveled spells, Shield and Absorb elements are top-tier defensive picks.
But they have somatic components, right? Tricky with weapon and shield.
Exactly, which is why Warcaster is almost mandatory. It lets you perform somatic components even with weapons or a shield in hand, and lets you cast spells as opportunity attacks.
Solves that problem neatly. Okay, what else?
Find Familiar for utility, scouting, always good. Mage Armor if you're a dex build. Misty Step for mobility.
Always need an escape button.
Yeah, definitely. Then control spells like Suggestion, Web, those are huge. Higher up, maybe Fireball for AoE, Fly for utility, Haste for buffing.
Haste is always tempting on a fighter.
Very. Enemies Abound, Banishment, Polymorph for save or suck or utility, even Sickening Radiance for area denial and damage. Lots of strong options, just gotta pick what fits your style.
Good list. What about backgrounds or species? Any standouts?
For backgrounds, anything giving strength or dex proficiency helps. Artisan, Guard, Noble for strength, Artisan, Criminal, Scribe for dex are mentioned.
Makes sense. Aligning with your main attack stat.
Species-wise, Elves work well for dex finesse builds. Goliath or Orc for a tankier defender feel. Human could grab Magic Initiate early for Shillelagh.
Shillelagh, to use Wisdom or Charisma for attacks. Or wait, maybe intelligence with a specific feat choice.
Right. Shillelagh uses your spellcasting ability from the class you took it from. So if you took Magic Initiate Druid, it'd be Wisdom. But maybe the idea is to free up focusing on Stridex by using a casting stat. Actually, wait, one guy did mention using Human for Magic Initiate Wizard, maybe, to get Shillelagh to key off Intelligence. That's tricky. Shillelagh isn't normally a wizard cantrip. Maybe they meant a different way to get it keyed to Int. Or maybe focusing on Int builds generally. Let's stick with the core idea. Human is flexible. Tieflings get some extra spells, too.
Okay, so options depending on build focus, ability scores. Strider or Dex primary, con important. Intelligence needs to be decent.
Yeah, you want strength or dexterity maxed, ideally. Constitution right behind it for HP and concentration saves. Intelligence. You probably want at least a 14. Enough to make your spells reasonably effective, especially with Eldritch Strike helping them land. You don't need 20 ints like a wizard.
Got it. Feats. Warcaster is essential, you said.
Pretty much, yeah. Fey Touched or Telekinetic are nice for bonus action utility, adding spells or telekinetic pushes.
More control after.
Right. And Polar Master is interesting if you use a quarterstaff, maybe with Shillelagh, since it gives a bonus action attack.
Synergy there. Okay, example build time. Ash, Hunter of the Evil Dead. Sounds fun.
Yeah, this one focuses on using a quarterstaff with Shillelagh, making intelligence your main attack stat.
Oh, okay. So that's how they leverage intelligence.
Yeah.
They probably get Shillelagh through a background, or maybe a specific species choice, or perhaps that Magic Initiate feat after all, grabbing it from the Druid list but prioritizing Int for their EK spells.
Right, that makes more sense. Key feats are Warcaster early, then Polar Master for the bonus attack, Sentinel for battlefield control.
Locking enemies down.
Exactly. And Resilient, probably Constitution for concentration. The whole idea is using weapon masteries like Topple, Sap, Slow, Push,
All those control effects.
combined with Booming Blade via War Magic and your regular attacks now keyed off Intelligence thanks to Shillelagh. High damage, lots of control, a really effective Gish controller.
Very cool. Using Int for attacks really changes the dynamic. Okay, let's zoom out. The fighter class overall in 2024, still the durable, dangerous, customizable chassis.
Absolutely. Excels as Defender, Striker, can even be a face, sort of, with Purple Dragon Knight, or lean into Knowledge with EK or Psy Warrior. It's a solid foundation.
And some core class changes too, right? Not just subclasses.
Oh yeah, proficiencies are mostly the same, all weapons, all armor, limited skills, but fighting styles are now basically feats.
Meaning more flexible, you can swap them?
Yep, you can change them when you gain a level where you'd get an ASI. More adaptable. Second Wind got buffed too.
More uses.
More uses, recharges on a short rest now, and it has extra tactical bits. Tactical Mind lets you add a D10 to a failed check. Tactical Shift gives free movement when you use Second Wind.
Nice. More sustain, more utility baked in. And the big one, weapon mastery.
Huge. Adds so much tactical depth. Fighters get more mastery slots than anyone else, letting them swap properties on weapons.
Like changing a longsword from Vex to Sap.
Exactly. And synergy with Action Surge, you could attack with one weapon mastery, Action Surge, draw a different weapon with a different mastery property active, and attack again.
Whoa, okay. That's complex but powerful.
And at level 9, Tactile Master lets you use Push, Sap, or Slow mastery properties with any weapon, even if it doesn't normally have them. Really opens things up.
Very interesting. Action Surge, still the same core idea. Extra action.
Yep, still amazing. The only change is it explicitly says you can't use the magic action with it, so no casting 2 leveled spells.
Ah, okay. But War Magic gets around that for cantrips, right?
Right. War Magic lets you cantrip after an attack, which isn't the magic action itself. So EK still gets good use there. Extra attack scales up, eventually hitting 3 attacks at level 20.
Still the king of attacks per round.
Pretty much. Indomitable is better, lets you add your proficiency bonus to the reroll, making it more reliable. And Studied Attacks gives advantage after a miss, helps smooth out bad luck.
So across the board, improvements. More flexible, more tactical options, more resilient.
That's a good summary. Ability scores are still Straw or Dex first, Con second. Int for EKP's E-Warrior. Skills are limited, Insight Perception, always good. History for EK, maybe?
And the guides list a ton of generally good feats, right? Alert, Lucky, Tough, GWM, PM, Sentinel, Sharpshooter.
All the classics are still relevant. Crusher, Piercer, Slasher, depending on weapon type. Warcaster if you're an EK. Heavy Armor Master, Defensive Duelist. Lots of choices.
Same for fighting styles.
Yeah.
Archery, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting.
All still there now as feats, plus things like blind fighting, interception, thrown weapon fighting, two-weapon fighting, unarmed fighting. You pick what suits your build.
And weapon choices connect heavily to those masteries now.
Absolutely. Thinking about rapier vex, longsword sap, maul topple, pike push, whip slow, hand crossbow nick is great for ranged builds, longbow slow, musket for raw damage, pistol vex again. You really need to consider what masteries you want access to, especially with tactical master at level 9 in mind.
Oh, lots to think about there. And multi-classing. Still viable.
Briefly mentioned, yeah. Barbarian for rage reckless attack, monk for dex builds, ranger or rogue for skills and damage boosts, wizard to push the EK further. Standard synergies mostly apply.
Fantastic. Okay, let's try to wrap this up. Key takeaways from this deep dive.
The 2024 fighter is definitely an upgrade. More versatile, more tactical depth. Weapon masteries are a game changer.
And the subclasses.
Champion is even better at consistent damage with the crit improvements and super survivable. Eldritch Knight is a much more flexible gish now with that full wizard list, integrating magic and martial really effectively.
So lots for you listeners to chew on. Hopefully this gives you a solid handle on the updated fighter, especially Champion and Eldritch Knight, maybe sparks some ideas for your next character.
Or just helps understand what the fighter at your table can do now.
Definitely. Okay, final thought to leave folks with.
How about this? With fighting styles being more flexible, weapon masteries adding all these options, and the Eldritch Knight getting that massive spell list, how far can a fighter really stray from the traditional hit things hard roll and still be effective?
Like, what weird, unexpected builds might actually work really well now?
Exactly. What kind of surprising combinations are waiting to be discovered?
Food for thought indeed. If you want to dig even deeper into specific builds or optimization, definitely check out those guides we've been drawing from. But for now, that's our deep dive. Until next time, happy adventuring.